Episode 15. The Call. Marcus emerged from the subway at 161st Street, the Bronx Youth Alliance, a 15-minute walk through streets that felt different in late afternoon light. The sun hung low and cold, casting long shadows across cracked sidewalks where groups of teenagers congregated outside bodegas, their breath steaming in the November air. He kept his head down, the canvas bag pressed against his ribs, watching reflections in storefront windows for any sign of the black sedan or the thick-built enforcer. Nothing. The street flowed with its usual Tuesday rhythm. Mothers pushing strollers, old men on stoops despite the cold, delivery trucks double-parked with their hazards blinking. Marcus had lived in the Bronx long enough to recognize when a neighborhood felt wrong, when the normal pattern was disrupted by watchers. Right now, everything looked clean. Still, he took an extra 10 minutes, circling blocks, doubling back, using the same subway evasion techniques that had worked this morning. The DeLucas knew about the Youth Alliance. Sal had made that clear with his casual mention of that community center where you were supposed to teach art classes. But maybe they wouldn't expect him to return to a place they'd already identified. Maybe they'd assume he was smarter than that. Or maybe Marcus was making a fatal mistake. He approached from 153rd Street, using the back entrance Jimmy had shown him. The alley smelled of garbage and old cooking oil from the Chinese restaurant next door. Marcus tested the door, unlocked as promised, and slipped inside. The storage room was dim and cluttered with folding chairs, boxes of art supplies, and a broken pool table someone had donated years ago. Marcus moved through it quietly, listening to the sounds from the main room. Teresa's voice calling out homework assignments, the thump of a basketball against hardwood, someone's radio playing Marvin Gaye. Jimmy's office door was closed. Marcus knocked twice, soft. "It's open." Jimmy sat behind his desk, reading glasses perched on his nose, working through what looked like grant applications. He glanced up, saw Marcus, and immediately set down his pen. "Thought you might come back here," Jimmy said. "You okay?" "For now." Marcus closed the door behind him. Set the canvas bag on the floor beside the visitor's chair. "I need to use your phone. Just one call. 8 o'clock. After that, I'll be gone." Jimmy checked his watch. 4:15 p.m. "You got almost 4 hours. You eaten?" "I'm fine." That wasn't the question. Jimmy stood, moved to the small refrigerator in the corner, pulled out a sandwich wrapped in wax paper. "Teresa made extras for the kids. Turkey and cheese. Eat it." Marcus accepted the sandwich because arguing would waste time. He unwrapped it, took a bite. His stomach, which had been clenched tight since the meeting with Sal, suddenly reminded him he'd skipped lunch entirely. "Thank you," he said. Jimmy settled back into his chair, studying Marcus over the rims of his reading glasses. "You want to tell me what happened? Or you want me to keep not asking questions?" "The people looking for me made contact," Marcus said carefully. "They offered me money to cooperate, $10,000. Jimmy's expression didn't change. "That's a lot of money." "It is. You take it?" "I told them I'd think about it." Marcus took another bite of sandwich, chewed slowly. "They think I'm scared. They think I'll bring them what they want tomorrow night and then disappear to California or Florida, start fresh somewhere they'll never find me." "Will you?" Marcus met Jimmy's eyes. "No." "Then why'd you tell them you'd think about it?" "Because scared people are predictable," Marcus said. "And predictable people make mistakes. If they think I'm cooperating, they might get careless, might say something they shouldn't, might give me the opening I need." Jimmy leaned back in his chair, the springs creaking. "You're playing a dangerous game, son. My father played the same game 20 years ago." Marcus finished the sandwich, balled up the wax paper. "He lost. I'm hoping to do better." "Your father," Jimmy said slowly, "did he know what he was getting into?" He knew exactly what he was getting into. He gathered evidence anyway, documented everything. Then he went to the police, and 3 days later, they killed him. Marcus's voice stayed level, factual. "They fed him into a factory machine and called it an accident. The evidence disappeared into a safety deposit box for 20 years, until last week." Jimmy was quiet for a long moment. Outside the office, Teresa called for someone named Miguel to stop throwing the basketball at the ceiling. The radio switched to the Temptations. "The call you need to make at 8, Jimmy said finally. "That part of your plan?" "It's the most important part. I'm meeting someone from the district attorney's office. They're going to wire me for tomorrow night, send in federal agents to document everything. If it works, the people who killed my father go to prison. If it doesn't work..." Marcus didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Jimmy removed his reading glasses, set them on the desk. "You can stay here until 8. After that, you do what you need to do. But Marcus..." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "Your father was brave. Don't confuse brave with suicidal. There's a difference. Father Michael said something similar. Then maybe you should listen to both of us." Marcus nodded slowly. "I'm listening, but I'm still making the call." "I know." Jimmy stood, moved toward the door. "I'll tell Teresa you're back here working on lesson plans for the kids. Nobody will bother you. Phone's all yours at 8. "Thank you." Jimmy paused with his hand on the doorknob. "Your father would be proud of you, or horrified, probably both." "That's what the journalist said." "Well, at least we're consistent." Jimmy opened the door. "You need anything before 8, you holler." Then he was gone, leaving Marcus alone in the small office with 4 hours to kill and a phone call that might determine whether he lived past tomorrow night. Marcus pulled his father's notebook from the canvas bag, opened it to a random page. March 22nd, 1949. His father's handwriting, neat and precise. Sal Benedetto arrived at warehouse at 2:15 a.m. 3 men with him, all armed. Unloaded 6 crates from truck with jersey plates, HG 4721. Crates marked machine parts, but wrong weight distribution. Watched them store in back room behind false wall. Benedetto paid off night watchman, $200 in cash. Watchman is Eddie Morales, lives on Hester Street. Marcus traced his finger over the words. His father had written this entry 25 years ago, when Marcus was an infant, when James Chen had no idea that documenting these observations would cost him his life. Had he known even then? Had he understood that each page brought him closer to the factory machine that would kill him? The afternoon crawled past. Marcus read through more entries, memorizing details he'd already read a dozen times. He sketched in the margins of his own notebook, not the art he'd promised to teach the kids, but architectural drawings of Pier 47 based on memory. Where would the FBI position themselves? Where would the DeLucas expect him to arrive? Where were the exits if everything went wrong? At 6:30, Teresa knocked on the door with a plate of spaghetti and meatballs. "Jimmy said you're working late," she said, setting the plate on the desk. "Figured you should eat something hot." "Thank you." She studied him for a moment, her expression concerned. "You look tired. Long day. You need anything else? Coffee? Aspirin? I'm fine. Really?" Teresa didn't look convinced, but she nodded and left him alone. Marcus ate the spaghetti mechanically, tasting nothing, his mind already on the phone call. Sarah Chen, Assistant District Attorney, building a RICO case against the DeLucas for 2 years. Hutchins had said she was solid, not on anyone's payroll, someone who actually gave a damn about justice. Marcus hoped he was right. At 7:45, Jimmy knocked and entered without waiting for a response. "Kids are heading home," he said. "Teresa's locking up the front. You want me to clear out? Give you privacy?" "Stay," Marcus said. "If something happens to me tomorrow night, you should know what I'm doing and why." Jimmy closed the door, leaned against it. "I'm listening." Marcus explained it all. The bank visit, Vincent Zhao, the evidence, the attack at the Nexus, Robert and Diane in the hospital, the phone call demanding he bring everything to Pier 47, Hutchins's plan to wire him and document current DeLuca crimes, and finally, this afternoon's meeting with Sal Benedetto. "They think I'm going to cooperate," Marcus finished. "They think $10,000 and threats against everyone I care about will make me fold. Tomorrow night, I show up at Pier 47 wearing a wire, and the FBI records everything they say. With luck, it's enough to bring them down." Jimmy was quiet for a long time. "And without luck? Without luck, they find the wire and kill me before the FBI can move in." "Jesus, Marcus. I know. Your father's evidence isn't enough? 20 years of documentation? It's 20 years old. Statute of limitations, dead witnesses, destroyed records. Hutchins says a good lawyer would tear it apart. We need current crimes, current testimony, current evidence. We need them to incriminate themselves on tape." Marcus checked his watch, 7:52, "and we need it to happen tomorrow night, because that's when they're expecting me." Jimmy pushed off from the door, moved to the window, stared out at the darkening street. You know what you're doing is insane, right? Yes, and you're doing it anyway. Yes, because your father would have done the same thing. Marcus thought about that. No, my father gathered evidence and went to the police. The police were corrupt and he died. I'm gathering evidence and going to the FBI. Maybe I'll do better. Maybe you'll end up just as dead. Maybe, but at least I'll take them with me. Jimmy turned from the window. You're 25 years old, Marcus. You've got your whole life ahead of you. You could take that $10,000 and actually disappear. Start over somewhere they'd never find you. Become someone else. I tried that once, Marcus said quietly. I was 5 years old when my father died. The state put me in foster care, bounced me around until I aged out. I spent 20 years being someone else, trying to forget I was James Chen's son. Then last week, Vincent Zhao called and told me the truth, and I couldn't be someone else anymore. He met Jimmy's eyes. I don't get to walk away, not from this. Jimmy nodded slowly. Then make the call. And Marcus, be careful tomorrow night. The world needs more people like you and your father. It needs fewer people like the DeLucas. I'll do my best. At exactly 8 p.m., Marcus dialed the number Hutchins had given him. It rang twice before a woman's voice answered. Sarah Chen. Miss Chen, my name is Marcus Chen. Gerald Hutchins asked me to call you. Marcus. Her voice was professional, controlled. I've been expecting your call. Are you somewhere safe? Safe enough for now. Good. We don't have much time, so I'm going to be direct. Hutchins showed me your father's evidence. It's compelling, but it's also 20 years old. For a RICO case to stick, I need proof of ongoing criminal enterprise, current crimes, current testimony, current evidence. Hutchins tells me you've been contacted by the DeLuca organization. They want me at Pier 47 tomorrow night at 9. They think I'm bringing them my father's evidence and then disappearing. Are you? No. Hutchins said, you want to wire me, document what they say. That's correct. Sarah's voice remained steady, but Marcus heard the tension underneath. But I need you to understand the risks. If they search you and find the wire, they'll kill you immediately. The FBI will be positioned around the pier, but they can't move until we have sufficient evidence of criminal activity. That means you'll be alone with these men for several minutes at minimum, possibly longer, while we record their statements. I understand. Do you? Because people say they understand, and then when they're actually in the situation, they panic. They try to run, or they fight back, or they do something that gets them killed. My father spent his final days documenting DeLuca crimes, Marcus said. Then he went to the police, and the police were on the DeLuca payroll. 3 days later, they murdered him. I've spent 20 years not knowing the truth. Now I know, and I have a chance to finish what he started. I'm not panicking, Miss Chen. I'm committed. Silence on the line. Then, Hutchins said you were your father's son. I see what he meant. What do I need to do? Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., meet me at the Federal Building downtown, 26th floor, room 2604. I'll introduce you to the FBI agents running the operation. They'll fit you with the wire, brief you on protocols, and go over the tactical plan. The wire will be sewn into your clothing, invisible unless someone strips you down to search you. And if they do strip me down, then you're dead, and we move in to arrest whoever's there. But Marcus, Sarah paused. The DeLucas are smart. They've been operating for 30 years without getting caught. If they suspect for a second that you're working with law enforcement, they'll kill you and disappear. You need to be convincing. You need to make them believe you're scared, that you're cooperating, that you're just a kid in over his head who wants to survive. That shouldn't be hard, Marcus said. I am scared. I am in over my head. The only difference is I'm not cooperating. Good. Use that. Fear is honest. They'll believe it. Another pause. Hutchins also mentioned that 2 of your friends are in the hospital, Robert Castellano and Diane Washington. The DeLucas put them there. I know. I've already arranged for FBI agents to replace the police guards tonight. Your friends will be under federal protection until this is over. The DeLucas won't be able to touch them. Relief washed through Marcus, so intense it made him dizzy. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. We still have to get through tomorrow night. Sarah's voice softened slightly. Marcus, I want you to know, what you're doing is incredibly brave. Your father would be proud. Or horrified? Probably both. A hint of warmth in her voice now. Get some rest tonight? Tomorrow's going to be a long day. And Marcus, don't contact anyone else before the meeting. No calls, no visits. The DeLucas are watching, and we can't risk them figuring out what we're planning. Understood. 9 a.m., Federal Building, 26th floor. Don't be late. I won't. The line went dead. Marcus set the phone back in its cradle, his hand trembling slightly. Jimmy was watching him from the window. Well? Jimmy asked. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., they'll wire me and brief me. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m., I walk into Pier 47 and pray the wire works. And if it doesn't? Then you and Frank Kowalski know where to find my father's evidence. The canvas bag has everything. The notebook, the photographs, the cassette tape. Make sure it gets to Sarah Chen. Make sure someone finishes this. Jimmy crossed the room, put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. You're going to finish it yourself. You're going to walk into that meeting, get them on tape, and walk back out alive. You hear me? I hear you. Good. Jimmy squeezed his shoulder once, then released him. You're staying here tonight? I've got a cot in the back room, and Teresa left blankets. You try to go back to your apartment. The DeLucas will grab you before morning. They might come here. Let them. This is a community center, not a crime scene. They show up here. I call the cops, and suddenly they've got witnesses and questions they don't want. Jimmy moved toward the door. Get some rest, Marcus. Tomorrow's going to be the most important day of your life. After Jimmy left, Marcus sat alone in the darkening office, staring at the phone. The most important day of his life. Tomorrow, he would walk into a meeting with his father's murderers, wearing a wire, betting his life that the FBI could protect him and that the DeLucas would say enough to incriminate themselves. Tomorrow, he would either see justice done or die trying. Marcus pulled the canvas bag close, wrapped his arms around it. Inside, his father's evidence. 20 years of waiting, 20 years of silence. Tomorrow, that silence would end, one way or another. He thought about the conversation with Sal Benedetto, the casual confidence in the older man's voice. $10,000, California or Florida. Start fresh. Sal thought he had Marcus figured out. Thought fear and money would be enough to make him cooperate. Sal was wrong. Marcus wasn't his father's son because he was brave. He was his father's son because he understood that some things mattered more than survival. Justice mattered. Truth mattered. Making sure the people who destroyed his father didn't get away with it, that mattered, even if it cost him everything. Marcus closed his eyes, listening to the sounds of the Youth Alliance settling into evening quiet. Teresa's voice calling goodbye to Jimmy, the front door locking, footsteps fading down the street. Then silence, broken only by the distant rumble of traffic and the heating pipes clanking in the walls. Tomorrow morning, he would meet Sarah Chen and the FBI. Tomorrow night, he would face the DeLucas at Pier 47. And somewhere in between, he would either become the man his father wanted him to be, or he would join his father in whatever came after. Marcus opened his eyes, stared at the ceiling. 28 hours until Pier 47. 28 hours until everything changed. He was ready.
Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures. Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures.